To be a while before people hop on. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Coffee with Tea. I'm Tamar Israel. This is Tara Vargas Wallace and Rachael Devaney. Devaney, I keep saying the name wrong.
Devaney.
Devaney. We're waiting for Ayana, parent, to hop on because she's with a client, because we all have jobs to do. So we're just going to shoot the shit for a little bit. Just to let you know, this show is not for kids. This episode, not for kids. I swear a lot. It is what it is. So we're just going to talk.
I was going to ask. I was like, is this like professional me, or can I be like real with my girls? Like, what's going on?
Yes, I want all of the Tata. All of the Tata.
Hey, so am I able to share this so that my friends can see it too?
Absolutely.
What do I do?
That's a really good question.
It says share screen, but that's like if I want to share a document or something, right? With all of y'all. Yeah.
I have no idea.
Are you on your
computer? Huh?
Are you on your computer?
Yeah.
All right. Open up another window and go to my page, and the live stream is already up.
See, girl, that's why you get paid the big bucks.
Soon enough. Let's freaking
right.
One day I'll make enough money to like feed myself. What?
I know.
Not so. How y'all doing today?
Pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Excited to be here with you, Tea. Coffee with tea.
Yeah. Coffee with tea. Whoop,
whoop. Whoop.
What? See, it's so funny. I'm drinking like watered down iced tea because I don't have any. I
don't see you going live yet.
Well, I have watered down cold brew, so you know.
That is not good. So let me check that out.
Oh, are you on your poet page?
Oh, I'm on my poet page. That's why. It took me a second to realize.
Like a damn fool. Okay. I still don't see you.
Yo, is that like red?
There you are. Okay, I'm gonna share it. Share. All right.
Aries.
Okay. So what's going on? What are we doing?
What's up, everybody? I'm Tamar Israel. This is Coffee with Tea, and I'm joined by Tara Vargas Wallace and Rachael Devaney. We're waiting for Ayana Parent to hop on because she's with the client, because we all have jobs to do. But soon enough, we'll start the show. So you guys come on in, listen to us shoot the shit for a little bit, and we'll be starting shortly. Tara, is that red like flannel?
Yes, it is. Actually, it's more like, I don't know, polyester or something, but it's not real flannel. It's just a flannel print. All right. I'm going with the fall look.
No, it looks good.
You making fun of me?
No, I love flannel. You playing? Listen.
It's all good. It's all good.
Flannel
sheets are the best.
Oh, hell yeah.
I will pass out and die. It's so hot.
Especially in this weather.
No, I love them.
So, Tamora, how's your eye?
Ah, shit.
Yeah, we love you. We love you.
Yo,
you know what? You were real with it. Like, whatever. We all do stupid shit. You know what I love about you, though? You put yourself on blast. Like, hey, this is me. Like, and that's the best way you can be. So that's what I love about you.
I'm so happy you're not blind. I'm, so happy.
I was so scared. So scared. It was all the crying that helped release it.
Yeah.
Thank God.
I was in like the beginning of the ambulance, like the hospital, and I was talking to the paramedic, and my eyes, what I found out is that like both of your eyes move at the same time. Like that's just how I had no idea. That makes sense now when I think about it. But anyway, so I'm trying to keep my eyes closed because like, it hurts to move it. And I heard someone sneeze off in a distance, and I said, "Bless you." And then the paramedic said, "Hey, look, your other senses are getting so strong. They're over there already. That's a good thing." I was like, "No, it's not." I don't want it to get strong.
Aye.
Oh boy.
What are we gonna do with you?
Seriously.
I don't know. I was crying in the ambulance, like I was supposed to have pizza today.
Pizza with tea.
Pizza. Oh God, I freaking love pizza, guys. Like.
So funny.
Wow. I'm so happy you're okay. And at least we all know now to be careful with that super glue or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, I don't even use super glue no more. So I'm like, I'm tape. Call me Tapey T because I ain't using no super glue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So did everybody go and vote yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Last week.
I voted like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
My daughter waits until the last minute. So I'm like driving. Barnstable, by the way, needs to like get it right because so my daughter, we did the mail-in voting, and of course she waited. You know what I mean, to send hers off. So I'm over here. I'm all morning long driving around town. I find the ballot box at the town hall, but it doesn't look like a regular ballot box. It's just a black box. So I'm like, I don't know if I should put this in here. Like, I want to make sure, with everything going on, I want to make sure that her vote is counted. So I'm calling because it's locked. All the doors are locked. I'm like, why are they closed? And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's election day. So I'm calling town hall. I'm like, where's the ballot box? I need to drop off my daughter's mail-in ballot. And she's like, it's outside. I'm like, no, it's not. Because the ballot box that's blue and it has ballot in red written all over it. The one in Barnstable is just a black metal box. So I'm like, So I call and she's like, it's right outside. And I'm like, are you sure? She's like, I work here. I'm like, okay, because it doesn't look like a ballot box. And she's like, trust me, it's the ballot box. Well, sure enough, I look again and they had put a sign up that says, drop your mail-in ballot here. So I feel like an ass because all I had to do was read. But either way, you shouldn't be like, isn't that some shit to have like a black mail-in ballot box when like everybody's advertising the big blue, red and white, you know what I'm saying, ballot boxes and making sure everything that's going on with voter suppression, like you don't know, you know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. It was sketchy to me. And Barnstable needs to correct that. But anyway.
Right.
Ha
What's up?
Hi, sorry.
That's all right. You got a job. You get it.
Yeah.
What's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy to see everybody.
I know it's so fun. It's so great.
I can't wait till one day we're all going to sit in a circle and snuggle.
Mm-hmm. All kinds of stuff.
Oh my god!
One day.
You make me laugh so much. Okay.
Let's see. There's gonna be a lot of laughing.
No.
Say what to who? I'm deaf. I'm sorry.
That wasn't me.
That wasn't me either. I think one of us went out for a second.
Oh, there she goes.
I think it's me. It's not the greatest, but let me see if I can move around a little bit.
That's all right.
You guys go ahead. I'm gonna get adjusted.
You got it. All right, everyone. Welcome to Coffee with Tea. My name is Tamora Israel. This is Coffee with Tea, a weekly show where we talk about pop culture events, a little bit about my life, and whatever else comes off the dome. This is a special episode, a special election episode. I'm talking to 3 amazing powerhouse community leaders, and lucky enough for me, they're my friends. So everyone, please welcome Tara Vargas Wallace, Ayana Parent, and Rachael Devaney.
Hi.
This is clap now, just so you know. Yes, let's get it there. So today's episode, we're gonna talk politics because it's election day. This day is beyond important. I have some pretty pressing questions for these amazing women, and I know that they're ready for it, and they're not ones to hold back. So you better get ready. First of all, what's up, ladies? How y'all doing today?
Good.
Awesome.
Sweet. Did everyone vote yet?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Me too. I was very excited. I got my early voting ballot thing, and I was just, yes, look at that. Put it right there. Mm-hmm. Yo, I didn't get a sticker in the mail. What's up with that, Georgia?
I didn't get a sticker either. Wareham.
Did it happen?
I have no idea.
I think Wareham and Georgia are like in cahoots. We should figure this out.
Womp womp. For real.
Word. All right, guys. So we're going to start off with a bunch of questions. I like very long, convoluted questions. So they might take a while, but I think they're good. So I want to start off with Ayana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. All right. So you are a licensed social worker and certified fitness instructor. We are living in very divisive times. What steps do you think need to be taken to mend some of the torn fabric of our community, Cape Cod? And are there any exercises or stretches that you would suggest for people to do to relieve some of the stress from this election in the coming days?
Oh my
That is
gosh.
a great
Okay.
question. I love that question.
I know.
She's good with those questions, boy.
Yeah.
That's better than the first one you asked me when we went out to dinner that one time. You're like, what lights you up in your life? I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Like, what?
Deep.
I'm like, I just say you hey. How about like my middle name maybe?
Right? Nah. Right for the
You're like,
jugular.
let's dive in.
All right.
So my favorite thing to talk about is breath. Because, well, we like to say that breath is like little love notes to our body. But breath is also the one way that our body knows that we're safe. So when like the world is in chaos, which it really is right now, like very much in chaos. I am even feeling it in my body. That's the other thing. So when you're stressed, you don't just feel it logically, like with thoughts, you actually feel it in your body. So my stomach's been killing me. And that's just a direct reaction to stress. And I think fear, a lot of our gut, we hold fear in the gut. And I think whatever side you're on in this political situation, there's the outcomes. So I think that's also what's giving people a lot of fear. But coming back to breath, meaning so even just inhaling and exhaling, that's why I was late, because I was doing it with a client who was having a difficult time because of all the stuff that's going on. And so I was teaching him how to breathe, literally, like, because we shorten our breath so much. I'm like, do you know how to take a really deep breath? And he was like, well, I breathe all the time. I'm like, no, you do the shallow breathing, right? Where it's just like it's literally like it goes here and then it goes there. Yeah. So taking a really deep inhale through your nose and then a long, long exhale out through your mouth and then letting your shoulders fall. So breath is the one thing that allows our body to know that we're actually safe in the world. Mm-hmm. So that's why a lot of people like PTSD, veterans, but it feels like we're in like crisis mode right now, right? So it feels like we're all in a war in some ways. We are, and since we hold the stress in our body, breath is literally the only thing that helps us to know that we're okay. So if I had any information that I would want the world to know right now, it's use your breath and breathe. And then just really tap into love and positivity, because it's there and it's not gone. You know, when people get stressed, they also feel like this is going to be forever and life is just doomed and we're, life is over. It's not. Yeah. There's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of stuff that's, even in the divisiveness, there's a lot of people that have really come together and really bonded around this. So I'm so grateful for that, and the numbers of people voting, so grateful for that. I mean, that's huge. So many people did so much work to get people out and vote because people's lives are at stake, obviously, particularly people of color. So I think that's good news. So yeah, I just took a deep breath.
Let's all take a deep breath.
I'm trying to breathe through it.
Namaste.
Try to breathe through it. Like, it's going to be okay.
Right.
For real.
So yeah, breathe and smile. Even sometimes I forget because I'm so stressed during this time that it's okay to like smile. It's almost like we're in grief too. Like if somebody dies, you're afraid to like smile or have fun or like still enjoy things, right? And you're like, oh my God, the world's in so much turmoil that like you forget that you actually can smile and enjoy little moments. And so that also helps the body to know that like there's still good in the world, even though it's really, really fucking horrible at the same time. Both can be true at the same time. Ooh. And we can still move on with hope.
I like that a lot. I like both can be true at the same time. I think a lot of times we think either or, black, white, like things can be bad and like we can be good at learning how to get through the bad, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. You said it way better. Thank you. Damn, that was a really good answer. See, I knew it. All right. Rachel, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Again, a little long-winded, but we'll get through it. Okay, so you have a background in immigration as an immigration law as a paralegal. The Trump administration has yet to reunite 545 parents with children who were separated at the border. If Biden is elected, how optimistic are you about his administration's ability to reunite these families?
Okay. That's a very good question. So just to clarify, yes, I do have a background in immigration law, but I'm also an immigrant. So I'm an immigrant by way of adoption. I was born in El Salvador in 1978. And, to be totally candid, I have, when I was reunited with my birth family, I found out that much of my birth family is here in the US undocumented. So, I kind of have personal feelings about it. But, to try to stick to your question, a lot of the issues that we have with immigration right now, mainly immigration reform, is due to Clinton, the Clinton administration. A lot of people, want to blame a lot of things on Trump. And believe me, I want to blame a whole lot of things on Trump. But Trump's ability to do what he's doing with detention centers and separating families, all of that stems from decades and decades of immigration reform that started with the Clinton administration. And Joe Biden was in politics at that time. And he was not helping immigrants at all. So when I think about his ability versus his priority, do I think he's going to do things differently than Trump? I don't have much faith in that at all. I don't see him being sympathetic to immigration reform or, to families that are immigrating from Central and South America. When we're talking about immigrants, we also have to remember that there is a huge, huge, huge disparity between Central and South American immigrants and Canadian immigrants or European immigrants. The axe is really falling on immigrants of color, also coming from the Caribbean and from Africa and from any countries that are Black and brown people. So, we would have to dramatically scale back on immigration reform. And I don't see Joe Biden doing it. I don't see any president coming in and doing it. Obama didn't do it. So, we really have to be super realistic about, what the ability is and what course of action we're ready to take. And as the way the country's looking right now, a lot of people are sympathetic when it comes to the separation of families, but when it comes down to cracking down on the laws that are making up immigration at this time, it's not looking good. It's not looking good.
Damn. I just learned something. Thank you so much. I didn't know that a lot of the immigration law was due to the Clinton administration.
Oh yeah, they formed it. I mean, that everything that is the way it is now is because of the Clinton administration, which it's a Democratic Party. So, when I see a lot of people saying blue versus red and, red is evil and this, blue ain't that good either. Like we really have to start thinking, as a community nationwide. I think we really think secular, like we think about just as an individual and we're not thinking about anybody else. And that's what the problem is in this country. It doesn't matter if you're red or you're blue. A lot of these laws, they were composed by white men and they don't care about Black and brown people. And when those laws were put in place, they set a tone for the next 100 years. To try to rewrite these laws and to start being more realistic about who these immigrants are. I mean, these immigrants are indigenous people. They're indigenous to this country. They're indigenous to North, Central, and South America. My people, we go back 65,000 years. And to have the gates closed to cross over these colonized borders is crazy to me. Like it blows my mind. But I'm not trying to take over the whole show about immigration because I could go on and on and on and on and on and on. So that's my short answer.
I love that answer. And we all learned something. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Always, always learning something with Rachel.
Right? Love it so much.
I try.
All right. Tara, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
I made it just for you.
Lay it on me, girl.
All right, let's do this. So you have 23 years of experience in social service. Thank you. Social services are greatly impacted by local politics and local elections. There's been an influx of everyday people running for office. How optimistic are you about this new interest in local politics? And would you accredit Trump as a motivating factor behind this influx?
So first of all, full disclosure, just because I'm involved with so many organizations, I need to just say that all of the ideals and opinions that I express today are solely my own and have absolutely nothing to do with any of the organizations that I'm affiliated with. And yes, I think Trump has a lot to do with it, but I also think that, we have to remember that Trump is just the face of a much larger beast, and that there's a lot that goes into this, and it's so intricate and complicated. I didn't vote for people. I didn't, yes, I voted Biden Harris, but I voted for conditions, not people. I voted for who's going to help meet these needs and conditions the most. I'm well aware of the Biden Harris history. I'm not in love with Biden or Harris, but I know that they are who we can put their feet to the fire, right? Like we can hold them accountable, and we will. I mean, we all know what's at stake here, right? We know that billionaires have led a hostile takeover. We know that many of our representatives, including people in Congress, have been bought and paid for by big corporations. We know that the Trump administration has put plutocrats in charge of almost every federal agency, getting critical public services, cutting critical public services, including SNAP, Social Security, the United Postal Service. We know that we face a 6-3 hyper-partisan conservative majority on the Supreme Court of the United States, and that is the hostile. It's hostile to democracy itself, right? And that it threatens it threatens to roll back decades of progress and affect some of the most vulnerable populations, some of our most vulnerable people in our community. So it's so important that we unfortunately we don't have the best options, right? So we have to choose who we think is going to really be for the people the most. And it's so important that we show up, that we stand up, that we get out there and vote, and that we make sure that this country knows that we are people strong, right? Like that's the most important thing right now. And then we also need to understand that once the voting's over, we're not done. Like the work's just beginning. You know what I mean? We have a lot of work to do, and the voting, that's just one aspect. I get exhausted thinking about what needs to be done. And I think that a lot of us need to be running, especially women, and in particularly women of color. Extremely important. So, Ayana, Rachel, Tamora, get with it.
I got you.
There he is.
Sister.
Yes. I'll tell you what, once Amplify gets off the ground, I might think about it. But for right now, I got to focus.
What? Tell me now.
What?
What are you going to run for?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I missed the most important point. Local politics are just as important, right? Like I don't think people understand the gravity of that. local politics are just as important. That's how we get to decide what happens where we live, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people really, I hear so many of my friends who don't vote, you know what I mean, for when it's local politics. It's like that's the most, that's so critical. I mean, I wouldn't say the most critical, but it's definitely equally as important. And I think we need to just put that out there that, you know, local politics are crucial. And if I ever run, it's going to be locally. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
I don't know for what. What are you gonna? Which?
I don't know, town council, something. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm running. I'm just saying if I run, it's going to be on a local level.
To nail it down. I'm trying to get it on the show. You said.
What are you running for, Miss C? I know, that's what we all say. That's the problem.
Your children are grown.
Uh-oh, Rachel's having bad Wi-Fi issues.
Oh, no. Yeah, she said she's trying to get back on, so
okay.
She'll be on soon. Oh, there she is. Add to stream. You guys ever like say things like as you're doing it and forget that you're saying it out loud? Am I the only one?
I'm back.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool. Yay, you're back. We missed you. That's right. All right. I have a question. The following questions are for everyone. Where do the three of you go to get your reliable news and political coverage? Who do you listen to? Who do you, when you see something on Facebook, whatever, what site do you go to fact check that? Who do you trust?
I mostly pay attention to Sean King. Do you know who he is?
Sean King.
He's like political commentary, but also a lawyer, activist. He's dope. I love him. He just has like the latest information when it comes to issues pertaining to Black lives, and I love him. I'm like on his page all day, all the time. And he has like a podcast, and I get tons of up-to-date, reliable information from him.
Wasn't he just on the Breakfast Club a couple weeks ago?
Oh yeah, probably. Yeah.
I love the Breakfast Club. Huge fan.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I'm an NPR person. I go to NPR.
WCAI. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was
you guys do anything different?
NPR. I also get updates on my phone, and I was just checking to see who it is. It just says U.S. News, but I get a lot of updates on my phone. That it hits your phone like right when it happens. So it's like I kind of feel like I get like the inside privy. I'm sure it's not, but it makes me feel special. So anyway, but yeah, NPR and moveon.org is another one that I love. Yeah.
Oh, I like that one. Move On for sure. All right. How would you guys explain this moment in time, this presidency, this 2020 election? How would you explain this moment in time to your grandchildren as a bedtime story?
Girl.
I mean, the struggle continues. The struggle continues. This is like a nightmare. I don't know if it's a bedtime story.
Right. Like what?
Right.
I mean, for sure, you want to make sure that these times are relayed to our youth, and make sure that they carry on the legacy. I mean, that's what our elders do for us, right? But I think, fortunately, because of the world we're living in, they're seeing all this play out, right? I mean, we live in a very social, what's it called? Not social, but everything's televised with social media, and so unfortunately, I don't think we have to tell them much other than to just maybe go over what's accurate, what's important, and keep the conversation going. But I don't know. That's my take on it. What about you guys?
I think so there's my mom used to always tell me like the best thing she ever taught me was like trust your gut and think for yourself. And I think that really rings true because I can't even watch the news anymore. Like I don't even have like none of it's true. Like and I love Sean King too, but I'm questioning what gets put up and what gets taken down and what does he have control of that more? Like even that is making me nervous. So some of the stuff that's coming out from him is like very similar to what's another feed I just like, it's all, I'm like, whoa. So like I've had to just turn it all off and like go internal and be like, you know, and I think, you know, from years to come, we're going to say something like, we really, this came up at the meditation on my house. It's like, we really pissed Mother Earth off. And so she got upset and she had some reactions. And so she had to show people some things that they had to do in order to change the world. And so in order to do that, we kind of had to break down, to break open, to heal people that needed to be healed. And sometimes that didn't look very good. But the world is on its way to figuring that out. Dude, that's the best I got.
No, that's a good one. I'm gonna go right to sleep after that. That's good. I'm gonna cry a little bit, but I go to sleep.
And breathe, and breathe,
and breathe. I'm gonna breathe.
One thing that I think is super important, and I think that people kind of shy away from this a lot, and this is with my daughter, never mind my grandkids. That's another story. I have a 10-year-old, and it's just super important for me to give her a foundation. So we don't just talk about like what's happening right now. She needs to know what happened 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. So as she's growing up, she understands that she's a Black queen. She's a descendant of, you know,
great.
I mean, she's an original person. She's an indigenous person. Her roots go back further than, I mean, we can even begin to understand. So it's really important to talk about where we originated from, and that includes indigenous stories. Like, we got to be storytellers. We got to pass these stories along. We got to talk about the history and our ancestors, and, you know, really make sure that they have a foundation. So as they're growing older and they're trying to understand modern times, they understand why things are the way they are right now, and what they need to do to be changing the future. Like I'm not going to accept anything less from my daughter. She doesn't have a choice but to be an activist, but she's already on her way, and it's like amazing to watch her transform in that way. And when I hear her debating, she's so on point, and I'm like, see, this is why, you know, I had her learning all kinds of things, like from when she was a tiny little kid, you know, like, because it's so important. I don't want to have to catch her up. You know, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that.
Right.
For sure. And the other thing too is I learn a lot from my kids. You know, all my girls are in school, they're all working, and they're out in the world and they're living it, and they teach me, you know, and that's something that, you know, I mean, like BIPOC. I didn't know what the hell BIPOC was. It's like, you know what I mean? And my daughter was like, well, Mom, because like with Amplify, she's like, well, Mom, it should be BIPOC. And I'm like, I can't keep up. Like I just
I was like, what the more letters? Come on.
More letters.
Right. And you know, it's important to just also state that by POC, people of color, I'm including everybody, Black, Indigenous, everybody. Asian, Brazilian, Hispanic, like going on. But you know, it's back to my point is, you know, these kids, you know, they're teaching us, and it's important that we listen and that we hear them out, because they have a lot to say, and the world is changing and they're changing in it, and they're a part of all that. So, you know, it's like I get so frustrated when I'm sitting and I'm talking to my elders, and they're, you know, and I have a lot of respect for everything that they have fought for and been through, and everything that they have led us up to now. But oftentimes I think, you know, that times are different now. Like we have to take a different approach. You know what I mean? And it's like, I wish they would hear me. And I think about that when my girls talk to me and they tell me, well, Mom, you know, you got to do this, or you got to do that, or you got to look at it this way. And it's like, okay, like I have to open my mind up to the fact that even though they're younger, you know, and even though they haven't lived life, they are in it, they're living it, they're learning things, and they have a lot to teach. So that's just something that's really valuable to me as well.
Hell yeah. That's something we could all learn. I feel like a lot of times we discount what children have to say because they're young.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
mean, kids are smart, they're resilient, and they are watching. They're always watching and mimicking. So we got to do the right thing. So we show them what good looks like. Sorry, let me get up off my soapbox.
Amen.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think it would take to make Election Day a holiday? And should Election Day be a holiday?
I think it should be a paid holiday. Like we should get paid to go out and vote.
It'd make me vote more. No, I vote all the time.
I mean, well, I shouldn't say. Let me rephrase that. We shouldn't get paid to go out and vote. We should get paid to be able to leave work to go out and vote.
Right.
I'm down with that.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Okay. All right.
I was
like the other one
because you're gonna have a lot of people debating that one.
Right?
I was like, wait a minute, that didn't sound right.
It felt
You
good.
know
to
what
me.
I meant. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Should it be a holiday?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm an independent contractor, so I probably wouldn't get paid anyway.
I know, that's the thing. I'm like, well,
Right. Like,
is someone else going to pay me?
right. Who's paying me?
I own the
No,
business.
we gotta think about everybody, guys. We gotta think about everybody.
Oh, we got to think about everybody. I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it's definitely a privilege that a lot of people have fought and suffered for.
Mm-hmm.
I think about so many people that have lost their lives to give us the privilege to vote. This year was exceptionally hard for me to accept that I had to get my ass in the voting booth. But
I know it was
you can't forget about stuff like that. So should it be a holiday? Who knows? Maybe it would give people an opportunity to spend time doing that.
You know what I think?
Yes.
I
don't, but I want to know.
I think they should have white men work for no pay. Women not work for a lot of pay. And send all the fucking people of color to a goddamn spa for the day. Say thank you for your service to our goddamn country because you hold up capitalism. I know. I had to drop it. I'm sorry.
I'm not gonna drop it again. Damn, y'all heard that. I know y'all heard that.
But I'm open.
I like that answer. I like that a lot. All right. The next question, I have a rather large and long question. This one is about racial justice. So recently, Chelsea Handler, because if those who don't know, Chelsea Handler is a comedian, and she used to have I think she still has a talk show. I'm not sure. She used to have a talk show. She's a white woman, and she used to date 50 Cent. So recently, Chelsea Handler called out 50 Cent for his support of Trump. He has since recanted his support of Trump and said it was a joke. In one of Chelsea's tweets, she said, "I had to remind him that he was a black man." She got flack for that statement as being racially insensitive. And she has since publicly apologized. My question to you is, can white people make mistakes and misspeak in that way and still have a seat at the table of social justice and social and civil justice?
Well, Chelsea Handler's had to apologize before. I actually watched a clip of her. She was like on some kind of platform, and there were young black women in the audience, and they called her out. I know what it was, because she wrote a book about white privilege, and then she went on stage and she was confronted by young black youth that were like, we don't want your white privilege has allowed you to write a book about white privilege. Like, it still isn't coming from black voices. So I think she has a tendency to kind of overstep. And I think, we don't need white women reminding our black men who they are. We don't need that, in my opinion. We're struggling as it is to, uplift our black men as black women, vice versa. The last thing we need is a white woman chiming in about what our black men need to be doing or how they need to be thinking. And when it comes to, support for Trump coming from black men, I mean, there's a reason for that. there's a reason for that, there's a lot of Black men that are listening to what he has to say. And that all stems back to, you know, what Joe Biden had to say in the 1970s. I'm sorry, but it really,
Sleeper
it comes
predators.
down to that. He was running his mouth in the 1970s. The N-word was coming out left and right. You know, he set up policies that basically separated Black families, you know, for like 30 to 40 years, and we're still dealing with that now. So, you know, it's not another white person's place to tell our Black men how they're supposed to feel about that. Black men are the number one people locked up right now. I mean, mass incarceration is real. Mass incarceration is another form of slavery, and we don't need that. We don't need that opinion, in my opinion.
Okay, all right.
Agreed.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Do you guys want me to restate the question, or are you good?
Not the whole thing. I think the end of your question was about, can white people like turn it around?
Yeah. Can white people make mistakes and misstep in this way and still have a seat at the table of civil and social justice?
I guess it would depend on like what they're able or willing to shift internally about their understanding of what they say in order for me to actually answer yes or no. You know, I'm super hopeful, and some people call me naive, but you know, yeah, I work with a lot of white people who I've seen be able to make a shift after saying a really fucked up racist thing. Sorry, no, I swear. And
we like that shit here.
With some help, really be able to understand what white supremacy is. And a lot of them are really naive. Not everyone, right? A lot of people are purposefully racist. I mean, the prison stuff is like makes, again, my stomach hurt. We have like pits in our body, like it is slavery, and that's where the police come in, and that's where the historical stuff of where police are, you know, it's a chain. Like, we're getting Black men in jail because we're so afraid, because they are powerful, right? So, I mean, the whole 50 Cent thing was fascinating to me. I saw an interview with him around the Trump stuff. So, but yeah, that's my thought.
Nice. Tara.
I agree with the both of them. I would say that, you know, yes, mistakes are definitely necessary for the growth process and for education wise. You know, I think it's important that people be educated and educate themselves. But I think that now is the time for white people to do less talking and more listening, and more learning and more growing and more changing.
Yes. Yes. Damn it. Yes.
And more internal dissecting without guilt or judgment. Like, just let it go. Like, the whole white guilt thing. Like, I'm sorry, shut up. Was your family?
I wanted to say that, but I was like, let me be nice. Exactly.
Right. So
Look inside, take ownership, deal with it, and move on. It's all right. We're all human. But whoa, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not my job to make you feel better about your whiteness. Like, cut that shit out.
And how exhausting is it to feel like we constantly have to educate? It's like, I feel like I'm constantly having to like explain systemic racism and institutional racism. I shouldn't have, that's not my job. Like, go look it up. Google is a beautiful thing. Like, I don't know why I have to constantly, especially when I'm talking about Amplify, I feel like people just don't get it and they don't understand it because they don't understand systemic racism. And then it's like, okay, well, go do your homework and then come talk to me. But I mean, it's constant and it's exhausting. I mean, am I right?
Oh, no,
yes,
yeah, absolutely
yeah.
right. I mean, it's kind of become a second job trying to educate. And then when you are trying to educate, at least for me, I'm trying to be like as nice and as sensitive as possible, because I don't want somebody to break down into a puddle of tears in front of me. But you know, it's hard to get those hard truths out there, but it's also necessary, although it is not our job. My patience is super like wearing thin when it comes to trying to get people to know and understand our position as people of color, with that are, you know, trying to live within a system that wasn't built for us. The system was not built for us. It was not even, we weren't even a thought on the radar when the Constitution was written. That had nothing to do with us. Those laws did not pertain to us, and they still don't. So until that happens, you know, we got to keep going and keep fighting And they're going to have to start listening. That's really key. What both of you guys said is about people kind of just be silent for a minute. Let people of color have a voice. Let us express ourselves, and don't cry about it. We don't have time for that.
No, I know. And also, like, go do what we say. That's the other thing. And like, people listen, they're listening, and they're like,
Right.
I'm listening. And I'm like, they're like, what can I do? And I'm like, I just gave you 5 things to do. Go do it. And then, fight like hell. Like, come on. Like, you are all college educated because you're white. Now go. Sorry. I'm getting angry. I'm really sorry.
It's all right. No, let that anger out, girl. Let it out.
Let it all out, girl.
If you look at the systemic racism, it's like, people of color are surviving because they've had to learn how to do that, right? And that's why we're so smart, because some of it is without an actual education, right? You combine that with an education and boom, right? You get us or whatever. Not even everyone has to be educated in order to be smart, but it's like, for white people, really, you have the tools, so go use them.
Right. But I also want to throw out there too, though, that expressing empathy is, we're tired of the tears, but the empathy, moves me. It touches me. You know what I mean? It's completely, it's not a bad thing to express empathy for what we're going through and to show your allyship. It's just the tears that get to us. But I mean, I don't know. I could go on forever about that one. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but
no, I know what you mean. Like, Christy cried. My friend Christy, she's white. She cried when the Black Lives Matter sign got taken. I mean, she was legit torn up for me and for my family. I mean, we're all obviously super close, but like, that empathy, I mean, that really felt good. Like, she really gets it. Like, she understands. She gets the suffering. She gets the pain. She didn't ask, and all I had to do was I mentioned it to her when we were done with the studio. And then, she was doing her own crying on her own. She didn't come to me and, it was like, so, I mean, that stuff really, it does. You're right. The empathy really is important. I don't feel like Trump has empathy. Not that but if we're going to go there,
none.
0. I mean, you can't, people are like, I'm going to vote because of his policies. It's like, if he doesn't have empathy for people, his policies are going to reflect the same thing. So let's not get that fucking confused.
Right.
I mean, we also have to remember there are true allies out there. I'm going to shout out Erin Andrews real quick, because that girl is right there. There are true allies.
Erin, Anna.
They're few and far between. There's a lot of people that
my friends
think
Lois
they
and
want
Janice. I mean, we could go on.
Real work
dog
kicks in. So, there are true allies. There are.
Absolutely.
But they're also behind the scenes, which is what's so amazing. Like, they do stuff and they're like, I don't want any recognition for it, which is just like, that's saying stuff, right? So it's not like they're posting 1,000 things like, look what I just did for my Black friend, right? Like, I see that too. I'm like, but
I know that's another thing we need to be careful with is, Ayana, I know you're seeing this. Rachel, I know you're seeing this. I don't know about you tomorrow. I haven't had this conversation with you, but, I've been getting hit up a lot from, especially because it's election time, from various different leaders and people not elected officials, but people running for elected officials too, who are like trying to get that diversity card, right? They wanna have someone that they can be like, look, we have this, person of color. And so it's really important. Like, I'm just gonna throw out, like, for instance, I've been involved with Housing Assistance Corporation for years. So I know I'm not their diversity card. I have been like, no, for real. Like, they have always been welcoming of all people, and especially people of color. And like, I'm just, like, I'm on their board or whatever, but I don't feel like they have this desire to like only have me on because I feel that bracket for them or whatever. Not bracket, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not playing that card for them. But there are so many agencies and people that we have to be careful of who will make us feel, I don't want to throw any names out there, but who will make us feel like we're being awarded for something when they have an agenda. Do you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So just be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm in theater, so yeah. So last question. This one is not really a throwaway question, but I honestly want to know. Like, I honestly want to know. Okay. How many days old were you when you figured out that the 5 Heartbeats weren't a real group? How old were you? I was like 4 days ago. 4 days
Wait,
ago.
they're not?
Right? That's oh, you're playing with me. Okay.
Today years
Right.
old.
Yeah, today years old. Yep. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't want to be the first one to say.
I have no idea. I was like 4 days old from now. Yeah. No idea. I was listening to old Breakfast Club and oh God, who wrote the 5 Heartbeats? Oh man, I'm so sorry, guys. Don't murder me. Robert Townsend. Whew, I'm sorry. He was on the Breakfast Club and he was talking about, yeah, like everyone thought the 5 Heartbeats was a group, and I was like, rewind. Sorry, what? Wasn't 5 Heartbeats, not a real group. Had no idea.
What do you know? You learn something new every day. Thank you for that very important information, Tamara. I have a question. If
Okay.
you could meet someone famous, if you could only pick one person, who would it be?
Janet Jackson.
Wait, dead or alive?
Oh, that's a good one.
Love Janet. Love it.
Yeah, I love Janet too.
Yeah, you're gonna have to call security.
Tupac.
Tupac.
Oh,
Tupac.
yes.
Oh my God. Oh my
What
God.
about you, Rach?
Man,
Yeah,
I'm not prepared for that question at all.
Just pick one.
I can't do it.
You can't pick
I can't
one?
do it. No, I mean, there's just like so many I'd love to step in to people's lives just real quick. But I'm all right where I'm at.
All right, who would you spend an afternoon with? Like who do you find interesting enough to spend an afternoon with?
Tupac.
Whole afternoon. Oh man, I don't know. I have to think about that. I only get to choose one person.
Yeah.
You go.
She said Tupac like 8 times.
She did.
Well, I also like. I really want to pick Rosa Parks. Like, I just want to be like. I mean, I know who she, all of it. I know she's dead, but like, I just love her. Every time I think about freedom, I think about her. Every time I think about fighting, I think about her.
Okay, I got somebody.
Okay.
James Baldwin.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Totally.
Mm-hmm. I got some
pick.
questions.
What?
For James Baldwin. I got some questions.
Go? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Girl.
No,
I mean,
you
would
go.
probably
I got
think
a whole-
I'm like so stupid, but like I love him.
No,
for
so
sure.
Yeah, his writing.
Agreed.
is unbelievable.
So I would pick, obviously, like there's all these greats, right? There's Angela Davis, Obama, Michelle Obama, like so many different people who I would love to spend an afternoon with. But I feel like we spend so much of our time and energy fighting and, and fighting the good fight and advocating and activating activism. You know what I'm saying? What's the word I'm looking for? You know what I mean? But for me, it would be Dave Chappelle. Because he is a funny motherfucker.
Yes,
I met him.
And at the end of the day, I need to laugh. You know what I mean? And he's smart as hell. Like he's real smart, and you can tell by the things that people laugh at how intelligent they are.
Can I
Well,
just
he can
say
get over like a race joke so good.
I actually spent the afternoon with DMX one time.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I was interviewing him for a magazine when I was like 23, 24.
Wow.
And I spent the afternoon with him and his wife and a couple other dudes. I don't even remember who they are. And he wouldn't let me interview him until I smoked a blunt with him. And it was like, I was like, no. Nobody wants to see me high. Nobody.
I did.
So I pulled a Bill Clinton and I just took one puff and I tried not to.
You didn't inhale.
But he was dope. He was dope, super smart, and I vibed with him. Got his whole life story. It was awesome. It was amazing. So I just wanted to put that little plug in there. Yeah.
Damn.
I did that.
You did that. That's insane.
Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of famous people, but he was like the most interesting.
Well, yeah, he's
by far.
He impersonated an FBI agent to get drugs. Like, I want to talk to him.
That's so, I could see that. I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah. I'm in for that conversation. I have so many questions. So many.
Oh, well, that's a whole other story, but.
Yeah, we're going to have to.
On my next Coffee with Tea appearance.
Yeah. I want to change mine from Janet Jackson to Angela Bassett because WWABD.
Dude, I just have her arms. She's just evil.
God, I think that you can like break down all of your life's questions and problems with an Angela Bassett movie. Just pick any movie that you need, okay?
Totally true.
Yeah, you need to get some sleep. You know, Vampire and
Leading to Exhale. That's all I can think of.
Best movie ever. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for us today. Did I have any more questions for you guys? I don't think so. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yo, thank you guys so much. You guys were awesome.
Thank you. I love this. I feel
this
like
was great.
More often.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so down with that. Absolutely.
Can I just say one last thing?
What's up?
I know there's a lot going on in the world right now. We all got like personal things going on, and you know it's hard to get out of bed most days. But I just want all of you to remember what badasses you are. We are movers and shakers, and we don't just talk about it; we be about it. And I love you all for that, and thank you for all the work that you all do. And I feel so blessed to have you all as friends.
Back at
we love you.
Ditto.
All right, guys.
All right. Thank you guys for watching Coffee with Tea, the special election edition. Thank you to Tara Vargas Wallace, Ayana Perrin, and Rachael Devaney. Make sure you check out Coffee with Tea. Say it again.
Devaney, you did it right. You got it right.
I did it right.
Yeah. Got it.
Make sure you check out Coffee with Tea live streaming on Facebook at Tomorrow Poetry every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Thank you again to our guests. You guys have a wonderful day. Please, if you haven't voted, take your ass out and go mother loving vote. You guys go vote. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Go vote. And I was gonna say, I don't even know what I want the last thing to be.
Peace, love, and revolution. Peace, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess we'll do the Coffee with Tea outro. Remember that hurt people. So keep an eye on your pain. Stay safe. Godspeed. We'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye, guys. Deuces.